Spacewalker Diary.
Hey, give me a minute, would you?
I'm pretty pleased with that stuff. I'll talk you through sort of the development of the shot. So that's version 1. Great, I could have abandoned version 3. So I've had to cheat to get that reflection. Here we go. Like and subscribe and all that stuff, will you? Thanks. I am currently in production on my first feature film. I'm making it in Unreal Engine and I'm broadcasting what I do here on this channel. Right, so despite my protestations that I was going to stick to animating the end sequences so that I could more effectively write the script knowing what the end action was, I have done some of that, but I've also been very naughty and started to play with some actual shots involving the new asset. It goes this way, and that's kinky. Just because I really wanted to put the new asset kind of through its paces a little bit. And so, yeah, let me show you the shot. This is 3 shots in sequence from when Tom exits, he egresses, to use the technical term, from the airlock. And then I'll talk you through sort of the development of the shot and what I've been doing and what's going on with it. So yeah, there we go.
EV1, we have some cautions for you from down here. Let me know when you're ready to hear them.
Hey, give me a minute, would you? This is the last time I'm gonna look at this.
Right. So I'm pretty pleased with that stuff. I'm pretty pleased. Here it is in engine, look. So just so everyone is aware, this runs in engine. Here it goes. You'll notice the sound effects are in engine. I've got the audio muted, but the sound and the music are all in engine as well. So this is the first shot. And then what happens is we can go to, so sequence 2. So that's the first shot. And you see there's quite a lot of versions of this. I'm going to talk you through some of them now. But then I've got the sequence 2, and the idea is now this is going to be the sequence edited. So we've got 1, and then 2, and then 3. These things sometimes do this weird thing. I'm still not sure why it does it. And I just have to kind of interact with the station to get it to do that. But so the 3 shots all run nicely in Unreal. Frame rate's not bad. You know, it's currently more than in general, more than, oh, it's dropped now a little bit, but that's fine. Yeah, so it's acceptable. It's an acceptable level of frame rate there. So let me talk you through some of the older versions of this shot. I had this shot in mind right from the off. It is probably the first shot I started to animate, and this is an early version. And I've sort of thrown this animation away, I think. I think it kind of broke, actually. So that's version 1. Version 2, what did you look like? Version 2 obviously broke somehow. No Tom there. Version 3, I could have abandoned version 2, to be fair. Here he is again. This is a more complete animation. Down he goes. Might actually revert to this. I kind of forgot that I did it, actually. I might save it and mirror it, and it can become kind of the thing. The idea was always that we would follow him out. So when I did the first camera move, is it this one? I had a different camera move to that. Where's the camera move gone? Is it in version 2? The camera move's in version 2. Yeah, so the camera move's in version 2. So this was kind of the idea, was that he's not there. I think I know what I did. I unspawned him. I turned him off because I tested a version where he went out feet first. And the idea was that we would tumble over and catch him upside down like that. So, and then the camera move would do this. And he'd be obviously holding onto the thing in the same way. And then we would kind of do all this. And it's just very long, kind of, you know, elegant shot, but a bit too long. But that was the original idea, was it would do something like that where I would put, but I wanted to come by his face. And so then I had this one. And so this is a version I did of it probably a few days ago. So let's just see here. So do this. And it's actually, I think this is a modification of that last one. And then the idea is that, so I didn't animate him. He's just there as a placeholder. And then we sort of tumble away. And we come to find the Earth. And the Earth asset, this is where the Earth asset sort of fell down a little bit. You see, when we come right around, just pause it here. So actually, it's not too bad, but you can start to see some of the, especially at render time, you can start to see some of the pixelation. So I do still like this. So it's still cool. And then the idea was possibly going to be, and again, very long shot, possibly we just continue to move all the way back around, and we've come further away from the station. That is actually how it's written in the script as well. And we come back to find the station. But this is the first time we see Earth, if you recall, right? Because in the first shot, we only see that opening shot that I showed a few weeks ago. We only see there's Tom now, and then we end up kind of looking at that, which I still think is cool. That's a long shot, and I've done it in a lot fewer frames now. So, and then I started working on these new ones here. I think that's actually this. Oh, that's one of these. Yeah. So it does this. Sort of kind of, you can see it kind of start coming together. And it sort of developed from there. So yeah, this is the first time we see Earth. We see a glimpse of it in the night pass in the opening shot. And then we're inside the airlock, and we're inside the airlock for about maybe 8-9 minutes. So that bit's very much the buried in space bit, really. Like it's kind of like this kind of narrow coffin, you know, and you can see it. It kind of is like that, you know. This is that it's this. We spend the first 10 minutes in this little space, and there's a door here. I've taken it out so I can get a camera in, but there's a door right here, so you can see the space that he's actually in. And if I come back to version 1, actually, you'll see even better, because that's the kind of space there. It's just not very big at all. And so that's very much the buried in space bit. And then when we come out, what I really wanted then when we come out was, and this is the very latest version, that when we come out, yeah, I do think that other animation I did is better. I might blend some of that in. That we get this sudden impact of seeing Earth, but we're still not seeing it all. We're seeing it very kind of out of focus and everything else. This was an idea late on that I would pull the visor down. He should have the visor down anyway, because he's about to be in sunlight. We can see where the direct sunlight is. So he should have the visor down. And then we would, you know, come out to these other two shots after that, and get this. So again, so we see a bit of the Earth, we see a bit of the Earth, we see quite a lot of it, and then suddenly we see, you know, boom, this sudden, like, you know, shot. So really quite happy with that. I'll be honest. I think I think they've worked out quite well. So this is interesting. I've had to cheat to get that reflection. I didn't expect that to happen. I just put the visor on, and I had to make the visor as well. The visor came kind of as part of the helmet asset, but it was kind of like the main bit of in the actual asset. It was this bit that was gold, and then there was this kind of bit of geometry up here with more gold. And it was actually, no, that's not how it works. This bit is the glass bit, and this is and then the gold visor comes down. So I went to the effort of doing that and getting it so I could set it up and animate it. And then when he pulled the visor down, I got this. I got this. No reflections. I was like, what the hell's going on? Now it's actually helped me solve another problem as well, because I did want to use a skylight. So I've added this reflections level, and all it's got in it really is a skylight. And that's absolutely fine. And this, so I've called this HDR Part 2. And what this actually is a cube map capture from Unreal Engine of his exact viewpoint right now. And so what's in the reflection doesn't animate, but I think that's fine. I don't really need it to animate. I'll probably get away with it altogether, really. So that's basically the so we can see the reflection of the station in his helmet, but no Earth. And as far as I can tell, the reasons were that with Lumen, the bouncers will only go so far. I did do some testing. I was testing with a plane to see how far I could move the plane away from the helmet until the reflections disappear, and they do disappear, and they disappear at a level that's like nowhere near the planet. The planet is a long way away. I mean, that planet is 1/6 scale, so it's huge, and it's a long way away. So like the reflections just aren't gonna. And it's one of the arguments for not using path tracing and finding ways around it, because the amount of rays you would have to fire at that helmet and have them all scatter off and then return a perfect reflection of the Earth, it would be insane. Like, it would be nuts. There's no feasible way to do it. So I'm a big fan of game engine solutions. They can look really good. And so this is a standard game engine solution, and it's nice. I mean, you can even see it here. You can see that, especially on the renders, you can really see the reflections come out quite nicely there. You can see he's got his lights on. I'm going to work more on the lights. Oh, actually, I'm not, because the whole asset will get redone. So, but ideally, what I want is the lights to help out here. You'll notice that I've put on, there's a little bit of a post effect coming on here, with this kind of like anamorphic style kind of light blending. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I just wanted a little bit of something, just a little bit of, like, the idea is we're going to be doing some of these renders, and I'm going to be showing them to people at TIFF, and trying to raise some money so that like I can sit and I can do this full time. And so we do want to have a little bit of razzmatazz, a little bit of something, a little bit of nice good stuff in the renders, and I think it shows. I think it might be overkill here, but I can tone it down. I'm not overly sure. What I might have a chat with some of my DOP friends and just say like what am I kind of working with here? It's not my forte, but I definitely want to have some of that kind of razzmatazz. So that was that. There's an interesting bit of animation I had to do here. Oh, it's crashed. Oh, lovely. Thank you, Unreal. Anyway, might as well leave it there then. Day 93. As ever, thank you for watching and being on this journey with me. It means a lot, and I will talk to you down the road. Like and subscribe and all that stuff, will you? Thanks.